I love...
Is it going?
Yeah.
Oh.
We can start. Thanks, Michael. We can start, I can edit whatever we don't need.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to say thanks. And I love watching you work out there as a director. You're so thorough in your supervision. You know, every little detail you're aware of. And I watch you directing the dancers, and it's amazing. You have an eye on everything. And it's like a director is coming out of you. Had you ever thought of directing from here on, or doing
No,
it?
not from bare scratch. I think I'm very good at putting stuff on that Bob has done, especially if I know the show. I don't think I could just go in and say, put on Pippin, because I don't know that show. I know what Bob's dancing is about.
Yes.
I just sort of know it. Well, after more than 30 years, I guess.
Yes, yes.
I should know something. But this show I'm just so familiar with.
Yes. You remembered every step.
Just about.
You did.
Just about.
It was amazing. Where did the idea of the charity revival come from? Was it 20 years, let's do it? It's been 2 decades.
I have no idea.
It was
I don't know. I was off doing other things, and suddenly they said, we're doing it. Who do you think should put it on?
And it happened.
So I went around. I went to Texas to see people who put the show on in Tokyo. They'd also been in a company that Juliet Prowse had done. But I thought, well, I'll have them teach me something I really know, and then I'll have them teach me something I don't know, just to see, did it feel like Bob, did it look like Bob? And it didn't, so I thought, well, so many years have gone by, and they've done it. The last time they'd done it was with the Japanese company, and nobody in the company was a dancer. So I guess they had to change so much stuff. Anyway, that didn't work. He couldn't get assistants that had been on the show with him originally. So I don't know, it just, they were not going to do it. And Bob said, did I want to do it? So I said, well, yeah, rather than have it be a mess, I'd rather do it.
Yes.
And he said, wouldn't you rather be planting flowers? So I said, no, there's no contest when it comes to this show.
Oh,
So,
this was such a timely and wonderful idea to do this show. When I heard it was in...
yeah, because I hate revivals. But you know, when this went on and when I saw it, after it was put together and then we got in the theater and I started watching it, you know, technical rehearsals and the first run through. Now that, gee, this show doesn't look that old. It doesn't look like a 20-year-old show.
Yeah.
And of course, Bob was present. He was there the first 5 days, then he was gone, then he was there the last, what, 3 weeks, I
Yes,
think.
yes. Well, you certainly took over like a professional director. Watching you direct the show was more exciting for me than watching what was going on stage. And seeing you get up there and do the steps and get down with those 20-year-olds and...
Oh, I can't really do that.
Oh, you did. You
I
did.
can do maybe a count of 8, but after that, I mean...
I watched you and you were out there doing it. It was so great. Do you think you might want to direct again if maybe other Bob Fosse revivals should come up?
Well, about the only one I really know, I doubt if they would ever do Redhead again.
Really?
That one I do know. And I know Chicago.
Yes.
This show I know better than either of those two shows.
Really? Well, this was the most incredible show. This, I think I told you before, was the show that made me want to work in theater.
Oh, you know, I think you mentioned
I
that.
did. I bussed from West Virginia 12 hours to get a standing room at the back of the Palace, and I left that night thinking I want to do something in theater, and that's what did it. It was this show, and when I heard this revival was being done, I killed anyone who got in my way to get in here, and here I am, and it's meant so much to me. I'm glad you mentioned Chicago. That was another great Fosse show, and I think it should be done again sometime. It would be,
Well, I guess they will, but that, that's only 10 years old now.
yes, yes. It might be too soon right now, but eventually. Had you ever considered going back to the musical stage again?
Oh, no.
Really not?
No. If
I-
I could still do it. I know you're going to protest.
Yeah,
but
yes, you're right.
If I could still do it in my terms, the way.
Yes.
But why go around disappointing yourself? And I disappoint
don't.
myself because I don't have the stamina. I can't jump anymore. I mean, I can't. Up here, I can still do it. And I mean, it's still
I think
fun,
that's
and
all
I
it
still
takes.
think I can do it. No, physically, I can't.
Why do you have to jump? Roxy Hart didn't jump.
Oh, the Roxy number. But it
Yes.
looked, it looked just like you were sort of messing around on stage. But that had a lot of dancing in it. And the strut,
Yes.
the strut
Yes.
had a lot of dancing.
Yes. 8 shows a week is a rough schedule.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere that you might want to do a comedy
Oh,
on
yes.
Broadway. Wouldn't
Yes, I
that be
would
fun?
do a play.
That would be wonderful. But you really think musicals
No, that's
are
it.
out of the scene?
That's it. And I like doing movies. I've still not done that many, but I still like doing them.
Yes.
And I like doing television.
Yes. Well, I hope we'll see a lot more of both of those.
You reach a certain point in your life where you think, boy, I better start really living. There's just not that much time left. So I like to jump around and do a lot of things that just interest me. Go from character to character.
Yeah. Speaking of characters, where was the fascination behind all the saucy sirens? They were all social consultants of sorts, weren't they? Most of them, damn
Who?
Yankees.
Oh.
All your characters. New girl in town was a
Yeah.
prostitute, wasn't
Right.
she? A dance hall hostess in Charity. They're great character material, but you seem to have played a lot of them.
Yeah, well,
Is
I
that
like the
coincidence?
underdog.
Yeah.
Or the so-called dregs of society, which prostitutes are thought as being. But,
A lot of people have a fascination with them and love
well, I don't have a
watching.
prurient interest. It's not that. I just think that there's so many people who have to be better than other people. And there's just like one step up who always puts prostitutes down.
Yes, yes.
I've known some prostitutes when I lived in London. They saved me from dying with that terrible flu that went around there. I mean, they're really terrific people.
Yes.
So,
yes, that's true.
they
That's true.
ain't that bad.
And they sure looked good on stage. Just a couple more questions. What do you think are major differences in Broadway now as opposed to 20 or 30 years ago? I know people are signed for 6-month contracts, which it was unheard of
I know.
20 years ago. Is that the difference in financing a show between then and now? Or is it because you cannot keep a principal player for longer than 6 months?
No, I don't think it's that at all. I think, now I'm not sure about this, I know that the cost of putting on a show has gone up monumentally. Some of that is because everybody's salary, I'm not talking about stars, I'm talking about all the unions have gotten an increase.
Yes.
To me, the big problem is the critics. Because they don't evaluate a show, they criticize it. And they are the ones who are killing Broadway.
Yes, I agree.
Because they don't look for what's good, what's entertaining,
Yes.
the audience. If they don't happen to like it, they just negate the whole thing. And I think theater owners who are also producers, because they will say, dump it, get it out, let's get something else in. And there was a time, because all the creative people go on waivers, stars, everybody. They will work for minimum or for no percentage to try and keep the show going. Some producers still do that, but they're not usually theater owners. And back in the old days, there were 7 major newspapers. And there were 9 to 11 very important critics.
Yes. In other words, 1 or 2 couldn't kill the show off
No.
like today.
No.
Yes.
And because the cost of the ticket is so high, and you've only got 3 major critics, 1 really, who can really kill a show. If you come in from New Jersey or even from New York, 2 seats, that's $100. So if you come in from Jersey, you've got transportation, a babysitter. People cannot afford to go to the theater. They would be able to afford it if there were 7 critics, or even 5 critics, who disagreed with one another.
Yes.
At least you'd have a better chance. And if the producers, where everybody goes on waivers, and it does not cost that much to keep a show open, if they would get behind it. And if the critics that do exist now would critique instead of criticizing, and if they would also critique the audience, if they just listen, how much fun are they having?
Absolutely.
Do they laugh? Do they applaud? Are they having a good time? So a couple of scenes are not top-notch. Maybe there's a dud song. But boy, they're killing Broadway.
Yes, I agree with you completely. I don't know if that'll ever turn around. I think we're still climbing financially as far as costs go, and I don't see any new critics coming into the scene to
Well, I think
disagree.
we ought to have 2 critics on the New York Times.
Excellent
2.
idea. Excellent idea. Yes.
And if they agreed with one another, if they both thought the show was terrible, okay.
That says a little more.
But still evaluate the intention,
Yes.
whether it was totally achieved or not.
Yes.
Also evaluate the people doing a show that they may think is not hot stuff.
Yes.
You know, so sell it for 2 for 1 or at tickets.
Sure.
And everybody goes on waivers.
Yes.
And there would be some theaters operating.
Those possibilities could happen now. That
so.
could come again. I hope so. Just one more question. Has your great-grandchild been born yet?
No, not till October.
Oh, I'm so excited. I
Yeah,
cannot believe that.
Yeah.
Great-grandmother.
I know.
That's extraordinary.
Well, just start young enough.
I guess so.
I think my son is more upset about being a grandfather.
Really?
I think it's exciting.
I saw him opening night here. I can't believe he's
Yeah,
a grandfather either. Amazing. Well, bless you and thank you so
Thanks.
much. That was wonderful.
Thanks.